Hey guys, what's up? This is Adam Clay from Computer Science Teachers. And we didn't get to have our member call last night. Some things came up, but I did want to make sure that you had the information you needed since our AP tests are tomorrow. So instead of rescheduling our member call for today, like we normally would have done, since the AP test is tomorrow, I decided just to go ahead and do this recording and give you 7 things that you need to make sure your students know and that you share with your students before the AP exam tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump in. Most of the information that I'm going to be using, you're going to be able to find here. If you go to cb.org/AP2020, it does change it like this, but again, it's cb.org/AP2020. Okay. So number one, the first thing I'm going to be covering with my students today, I meet with them a little bit later, and this is what I'm going to be covering with them. Number one, make sure your students fill out the exam day checklist. How do you find that? At cb.org/AP2020. It comes to this site here. If you go down to get ready, be prepared for exam day, and then you go down here, you will find the exam day checklist. Go ahead and click on that. You can download a printable version of this checklist. I know our students will be like, I don't need to fill this out. I got it. I'm good. Here's a good reason to just encourage them to fill it out. Either they're printing it out or just on a separate sheet of paper. Number one, they need to include their 8-character AP ID on the things they're turning in. If they forget it, if they have it on their computer and their computer reboots, they lose it, whatever it is in the moment, that's just going to cause more stress. Having it written out so they can just make sure they include it is going to help them just be more okay if something bad happens. Our job at this point with them is just to make sure if anything goes wrong, we get them have the best opportunity to still do well. And this is one way to do that. So make sure they do that. Again, make sure they know their exam date. 99% of our students do. I know that. They know what it is. But we do have 1% of students out there that are going to miss it because they have the wrong time, okay? 4 p.m. Eastern. Maybe they're going to go and do 4 p.m. Mountain or 4 p.m. Central or 4 p.m. wherever they're at thinking that's going to work for them. And it's not. Make sure they write down the exam date, the exam time, 4 p.m. Eastern, and make sure they have all that written down so they know when to go. And then just to go through this checklist here, make sure they have everything they need. I think this is just going to give them more confidence. Make sure our students do that. So that's number one. Number two, if your students have not done so, have them practice using the new practice exam with open-ended questions included. So last week, the College Board released a practice exam with open-ended questions. So if you have not seen that, I created a short link for you, okay? So I'm going to zoom in just so you can see this really quickly. It's right here, bit.ly/2T2U5RK. You can take this link and share this link with your students or just come and download it yourself. But if you, it's just a file that I've saved on my Google Drive that I took, which is the 2020 AP sample test that they released last week. A couple of things, okay? So this is exactly the type of questions they're going to see. They're going to see an array/array list question. That's a 25-minute question, plus 5 minutes to submit. So you have this here, and then you have part A. You have part B. Part C is the open-ended question. Okay, and so this gives them an example of an open-ended question. Then number two, okay, is another question here. Now these are ones that we have seen before. You've probably used these with your students, but now they're in this format. So even if you've used these with your students already, have them look at it in this format with part B here being the open-ended question. Make sure your students can do this, okay, and that they've seen this. And then preparing for how to do open-ended questions, you have some information here on how to do that. Just make sure your students have practiced at least with one of these tests. If you only have one more test or one more practice to give them this one. Make sure they have at least a practice with an open-ended question where they can time it out. Number three, make sure your students have practiced with the AP demo exam. If they have not done this at this point, this is probably the best tip you can give your students if they have not done this, okay? So again, you can find this if you go to cb.org/AP2020. You can find it there, or you can just type in demo, cb.org/demo. And this is going to take you to the exam. Okay, that didn't actually do it there. That's exam demo. I'm sorry. cb.org/exam demo. So let me change that up, okay? cp.org/exam demo. Let's see. Why is that not going there? I'm going to go this way with it instead. Let's go back to AP 2020. Exam demo should have worked unless they've changed that up really quickly. So we can go over here to practice with the demo. Let's see what happens here. Here we go. And let's go to the demo. Here we go. So this is the other way you can do that. So again, how I did that, if you go back in the video and look at that, that other link used to go there. I don't know why it's not anymore, but this is another way that you can get there. Or just type in AP 2020 exam demo.collegeboard.org. You type in practice. Okay. And it gives them a practice test. If they have not done this, have them do this, okay? And the big thing we need to make sure they do on here, it's number 4. Now I'm going to mention, make sure your students know what file types they're allowed to upload, and they practice uploading the actual file they're going to be uploading. If your students are going to be uploading files, have them practice the exact file type, okay, that they're going to be uploading. If it's a .doc, have them practice uploading that. Whatever it is they're uploading, make sure that it is acceptable, and make sure that they've practiced uploading it. If they're taking pictures of with their phone camera of their handwritten answers, which is the only acceptable type, have them do that, okay? Have them take pictures and upload it on this site. If they're copying and pasting, copy and paste into the site. Whatever they're doing, have them practice doing that to make sure that they know what they're doing when they do this, okay? Make sure your students arrive 30 minutes later. This is number 5. Make sure they arrive 30 minutes early. And I said later, 30 minutes early for this exam. They have some security checks they're going to need to go through. This practice exam only is a 4-minute here and then 10-minute questions. But for your students, they need to arrive 30 minutes early so they can pass a lot more security checks than this will. That way they're not rushing at the end. Make sure they show up at 3:30 Eastern to get logged in and are ready to go. Number 6, make sure your students know what to do if they accidentally log off. If they have multiple tabs open and they're going back and forth between questions and resources, and they come over here and they're closing out and they accidentally close out, how do they get back in? Make sure they know. If they do that, go to your e-ticket, re-click on your e-ticket, you will get back in, okay? Make sure they know how to do that. Also, pinning tabs. If they right-click on a tab in Chrome, you can pin it. What that does is it makes it so that you cannot close your tab, okay? So these where you can close them out, you cannot close this tab without unpinning it. So this is actually a good thing. You can have your students pin their tabs. I would suggest pinning this tab, and then if they're working in a Google Doc or Word or whatever it is, to pin that one as well. Have both of them pinned. They don't accidentally exit out. Of course, if you're using one of those types, they can always get back into that. Excuse me, but have them pinned. That is actually a very useful tip for them to do. Okay, and number 7 here, have your students set an audible timer on their phone, okay? So when the exam starts, set a 20-minute timer or 25-minute timer. That will go off in 25 minutes. That way they know and have an audible sound when it's time to upload. The biggest problem that students have had so far taking the other AP exams, is not getting things submitted in time or in the wrong format. If that happens, they're going to have issues. And so what we don't want them to do is coming over here and reading through a question and truly trying to get into it, thinking they have time, and maybe even going back and forth between there and going, okay, still have 1:45, okay, going back and forth and worrying about that timer. If they have a visual and a audible timer on their phone that will go off when the question is ready to be submitted, that's just another check for them. Of course, they always do have this timer over here, and you always want to make sure they refer to this timer as the actual timer, but having every opportunity they can to make sure they know and can submit things in time. At this point, I'm not going to cover any more big AP study things that we need to do with our students. We're 24 hours out. Usually by this point, our students either know it or they don't. If you are going to give them one more thing, you haven't given them the new sample test, do that. Give them that sample test I showed you. But if not, just step back, meet with them, have them breathe. If you're meeting with them today, encourage them, have them breathe. Know that they're ready, know that they're prepared. I wish you guys good luck tomorrow. I wish you and your students good luck, and congratulations after tomorrow on a successful year. And yeah, good luck and enjoy sharing this stuff with your students.